The following program contains content that some listeners may find disturbing and may not be suitable for younger audiences, including graphic and in-depth discussions on sexual assault. Listener discretion is advised. Please be sure to visit Outlier Project on Indiegogo at tinyurl.com/Outlier Indiegogo. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Molly.
How's it going?
Good. It's raining, but it's good.
It's raining and it's not cold.
I know.
It's like muggy and
It is.
flu-like symptoms outside. It's gross. Hopefully it'll chill out for Christmas. I don't know. Have we heard the...
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Yeah, me either. All right. And how are you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. We're gearing up for the holidays. We'll probably post this before the actual Christmas holiday. So hope that you are snuggled in with you and yours. For our friends, for our Jewish friends, we hope you're having a beautiful and meaningful Hanukkah. And for our Kwanzaa friends, we also hope that you are celebrating the true meaning of your holiday. And we're inclusive here at Outlier. What can I say? We love everybody, and we are touched and affected by everybody, much like the pandemic of sexual assault, which touches every person, every walk of life, every race, every creed, every gender. There is no group of people that is not affected by the pandemic that is sexual assault, and that is why we are here. This is the Outlier Stories podcast. So we like to start out, we've got our little outline. Chris, we've been working hard, haven't we? And what do we start with? We're going to start with the news today. So I was just talking with you about this. Guys, Matt Damon, WTF. Here's a little bit just to bring you up to speed in case you haven't seen it. I like to use reputable news sources. I consider ABC News reputable. Here's what our pal Lucina Fisher has to say at abcnews.go.com. Matt Damon has drawn heated criticism for his comments on ABC's Popcorn, in which he said all men accused of sexual harassment and assault shouldn't be lumped together because, quote, there's a spectrum of behavior, end quote. He goes on to say there's a difference between, patting someone on the butt and rape or child molestation, right? He told host Peter Travers Thursday while speaking about the national reckoning on sexual misconduct taking place in Hollywood, politics, the media, and more. Boy, it really is all over the place, isn't it? He continues to say both of those behaviors need to be confronted and eradicated without question, but shouldn't be conflated, right? First of all, I love how Matt Damon expects you to agree with him. That's not at all entitled or white privileged at all. And you know what? Wonderful actor. Love the guy. Enjoy him in so many, the whole Bourne series. It's awesome. We're separating how we feel about him as an actor in his profession with how we feel about his comments on sexual assault. But we got beat to the punch because Alyssa Milano and Minnie Driver were all over him like white on rice. Alyssa Milano has taken a stronger point against him. She says, I have been a victim of each component of the sexual assault spectrum of which you speak. Sarcasm, people. They all hurt. Milano, who helped spark the Me Too movement, wrote on Twitter Friday. And they are all connected to a patriarchy intertwined with normalized, accepted, even welcomed misogyny. I can't disagree with her. But I love what Minnie Driver says, former partner of Damon's. She brings a humanness to the response, and it's really beautiful. But she has her first visceral response. We all have those lesser angels that say something right up front. And Minnie posted on Twitter, God, seriously? And then a link to the discussion. So after Minnie Driver had a chance to form a more fashioned response, she says, I don't just speak for myself in this article. I speak for too many friends and coworkers as well. Men like Matt Damon simply cannot understand what abuse is like. And, I don't hear that statement, Chris, as her being critical of Matt Damon or even making a judgment call. I think she's just speaking a very hard truth. And that is that if you don't have this history, if you don't have this terrible story in your past, it is very difficult for you to understand this perspective, this very unique perspective and where people are coming from. Not so unique, though, because the numbers are staggering. 1 in 6
Right.
for women. What's the number for men? Is it
1 in 10.
1 in 10? Yeah.
And I feel like if you are a male survivor, you can speak to this. We don't know if he is or not, but from his comments, I kind of think not.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Now, the interviewer, Mr. Travers, he points out right from the get-go that this is relevant to Matt because he is a father of 4 girls. And I just wonder how different his reactions along the, quote, spectrum of sexual assault that he identifies. I wonder how that would be affected by the terrible possibility that one of his own daughters was being harassed or assaulted in this way. When it gets personal, it tends to change our responses, doesn't it?
It does.
So what can we say about this? I mean, is Matt wrong?
I don't think he is wrong in what he's saying because we have made that distinction.
Sure, we made it last week on our podcast.
Right. I think it just came across badly.
Yeah, and maybe the white guy who potentially hasn't been abused shouldn't be speaking about sexual assault in such definitive ways. I mean, is there a possibility that sometimes topics maybe shouldn't be just prescriptively off limits? But hey, if it's not your story, maybe take a seat and let someone else talk about it that does know what they're talking about, right?
I agree. I think he could have deferred.
Yeah. What if he had said, hey, maybe I'm going to let someone else answer that question, Mr. Travers. Maybe maybe I'll take a seat or several, as he's been invited to do on social media. I love that. That's one of my favorite insults.
Seat.
Take several seats.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take a seat and let one of the thousands of men and women who are victims of sexual assault speak about the appropriate reaction to it. And I think that would have gone a lot further for him than his comments.
I think so. This sort of goes back to the argument that I had with my own very sweet, caring, loving husband.
Who was just wrong.
He was. But he was actually trying to kind of say the same thing, and
True.
he said it badly. However,
Keith, I'm trying to take up for you here, but I just can't.
what I realized later when he could articulate it after I wasn't so angry was his fear that we're going to go way the other way and not believe people.
Right.
And so the fear that everybody's jumping on the, quote, #MeToo bandwagon, it better be credible.
Right.
You better be credible or you're hurting other people.
That's right.
And that's really all he was trying to say. He just said it very badly. And I wonder if Matt Damon just was trying to say something like that and said it badly because he doesn't have this story.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there is a great wide open space for authentic apology after misstep.
Yes.
But so many of us are so bad at that. And if you can, I'll tell you, the best advice I can get, I tell my son all the time, learn to apologize and mean it. Because you're going to screw up. And often when we screw up, we're hurting people. And I think that's what is happening here. Matt's comments are hurting people. I don't think that's his intention. I don't see
either.
any malice in it whatsoever. But it doesn't matter your intention. Pain is pain. And the minute you realize you've inflicted it, you need to make that right. Quickly.
Right. Other people's perception is their reality, whether he meant to hurt anybody, which I really don't feel like he did, but
No.
he did.
He did. That's
Because
the reality
that's how
of it. Yeah.
people are taking these comments.
Right.
And it is hurtful.
It is hurtful. And I think that Minnie's thoughtful reply is perfect and beautiful, and I appreciate her so much. She goes further to say, I felt I desperately needed to say something. I've realized, listen to this, guys, I've realized that most men, good men, the men that I love, there is a cutoff in their ability to understand. They simply cannot understand what abuse is like on a daily level. says the British-born actress to the newspaper who received this article. I believe it's The Guardian. Yep, that's right, theguardian.com. And we're posting a link right now to the Facebook page for Outlier, which you can find at facebook.com/Outlier stories. We'd love to hear your comments there. Be respectful or we'll get rid of you. There,
yes.
We said it. But we want to hear good debate. We want to hear good dialogue. And you don't have to agree with us, but you do have to be respectful. And that the same goes for those who do agree with us. She sums up her comments this way. I honestly, and this is Minnie Driver again, speaking with The Guardian, I honestly think that until we get on the same page, you can't tell a woman about their abuse. I would add to that, you can't tell a victim about their abuse, because we know that there are men who are victims as well. Lots of them, they just don't report. I'll go ahead and read that again then with my edit. I honestly think that until we get on the same page, you can't tell a victim about their abuse. A man cannot do that. No one can. It is so individual and so personal. It's galling when a powerful man steps up and starts dictating the terms, whether he intends it or not. Bravo, Minnie Driver. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, that's the latest news that we wanted to bring to you today. We have posted that story on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Outlier stories. What can you do for us right now? What can you do to help this movement? What can you do to help the truth that people like Minnie Driver are putting out there in the press? You can like the Outlier Stories Facebook page, and you can share it with your friends, family, and professional networks, and make sure that everyone you know knows about that page. I guarantee you know someone who has this terrible story in their past. So let's see. We need to get into. Chris has committed the cardinal sin of not silencing her phone. She's very popular. There's really not anything we can do about it, and she's just gonna. Her people need her. That's all there is to it. So do we want to talk about Al Franken for a little bit?
Sure.
Did we talk about him last time?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So Al Franken. Now, I'll go ahead and self-identify. I am socially liberal,
fiscally
conservative. Yep. But I'm so socially liberal that no one cares that I'm fiscally conservative. And everyone sees me as a raging liberal, especially down here in the great red state of Louisiana. And Al Franken is one of my guys, right? Al Franken is a Democratic senator from Minnesota. And he has recently stepped down following sexual harassment allegations. There's been a lot of discussion about whether or not those allegations are true or false. But what have I always said, and I will continue to say, I err on the side of the victim. And even if these are exaggerated claims against Al Franken, the right thing to do is to take one for the team and step down, because you're no longer able to lead without distraction, right? I mean, it's you're done. Take several seats, Mr. Franken.
It
Senator
was
Franken.
Really interesting, though, how he pointed out that other people are still in office who had similar claims made against them.
Tell it.
And that was part of his, I think, final hurrah in his resignation. And I don't blame him for pointing that out. What I think is so interesting is that we really are seeing a paradigm shift in our culture with these elections, and as seen in Alabama. And again, we're bipartisan. We don't care.
There's no politics here. The only politics is the politics of sexual assault that we're trying to completely crush and identify it for what it is. But yeah, you are in a safe place with us. You don't need to worry that we are not your people, and we're not going to support you because we don't share political beliefs. Chris and I don't share political beliefs. So,
we love each other.
Not entirely, and we adore each other. And that's really what it's about. We remember the things that remind us that we love each other and not the things that don't. So if you hear this podcast and you're coming from a more conservative bent or you're coming from a more liberal bent, it doesn't matter, because that's not what binds us together. What binds us together is that we believe victims, and we are committed together to end the pandemic of sexual assault.
And talking about the pandemic of sexual assault and ending it, part of our mission statement is fostering justice. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this before. The legal system has a lot of work to do in this arena, and we have made some strides. However, many, many, many survivors will never see legal justice, but what they can see is restorative justice, healing, getting the counseling they need to move on in their lives and not let this become an everyday part of their narrative.
That's right. That's right. In fact, we sort of hashed out our response to situations and phenomenons like, or oh my God. I'm not even going to cut that because it's so ridiculously funny.
Phenomenon.
Phenomena. Okay, so we've hashed out our response to these claims like the ones against Roy Moore and others like him. For lack of, my memory's failing me. But first, we want to believe victims. We just want to believe victims. And what does that mean? That means that we allow space for due process. It's not justice in the media. It's not vigilante justice. A claim and an allegation has been made. We're going to allow law enforcement and the legal system to effect due process. In the meantime, we're going to approach with kindness.
Absolutely. And many, many people, as a matter of fact, 2/3 of all sexual assault victims do not report to the police. Mm-hmm. So in that scenario, which is more common than not, we're looking at restorative justice.
That is the penultimate, or the ultimate. That is the ultimate place where we want to arrive. We want to arrive at restorative justice. We recognize that the legal system can only give you so much when you've been hurt and victimized by a crime. But restorative justice heals the soul. And we've seen it happen. That's why we elected to take Outlier on the road. It's why we brought a film crew with us, because we wanted you to watch it happen the way we've watched it happen. And it's a beautiful, transformative, forever changing thing. I will forever be changed by the transformation, the healing transformation that I've seen in our Outlier angels.
It's contagious.
It's the most extraordinary thing I've ever witnessed.
Me too. And the last 10 years of my nursing career as a forensic nurse, I haven't seen anything like this in the sexual assault arena, where people are moving to healing very quickly.
God, yeah. And it's awesome. We can see more of that. We can see more of that, and you can help. How? Here's how. You need to like us on social media. You can find us at facebook.com/Outlier Stories. Like and share us. We would just absolutely, you're the bee's knees for doing that for us. And then we also want you to check out our website at outlierstories.com. And for those of you Insta peeps and tweeters, you can find us on the Twitter, Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is at @outlier_stories. But most importantly, we want to talk to you about our Indiegogo project. We are in the midst of the fight of our lives for our Indiegogo ambitious goal of $75,000. We have great news. Yesterday, something magical happened. Chris, tell us what happened yesterday.
Well, yesterday I came home from a very trying appointment, and I sat down in my kitchen, and I was really just about ready to cry. And all of a sudden, my phone dinged, and it was Indiegogo with a $2,500 anonymous donation. And as soon as I opened it, Molly called me.
We were on that, y'all. Oh my God. I couldn't get my phone open fast enough to text Chris and go, did you see that? Actually, I didn't even text you. I called you, didn't I? Yeah. Whew. That was amazing. So this is an anonymous contributor from out of state. So that tells us right there, we are a national movement. I was so excited when I saw that. This person elected not to receive any perks. And actually, we don't have a perk level at the $2,500. But let me tell you something. If you want to give us $2,500, we'll figure something out, okay? If you need perks, we will get them to you. But there are levels to give. You can give at any level. You can give at the $5 level. You can't get a coffee at Starbucks for that. But you can make a contribution to Indiegogo, the Outlier Project, and help end the pandemic of sexual assault. We've got some great prizes. It goes up to $10, $15. $20 gets you an Outlier mug, and this thing is outstanding. I can't wait to have it in my own hand. $25, you get to watch the pilot. $25, that's it, and you get to watch the pilot. $50 comes with a T-shirt and all of the other amenities that come before it. $250, now you're getting into the big leagues, folks. We have some really cool perks for you there at that level. And then at the bronze level, $1,000, we're going to add a vintage custom designed piece of jewelry that comes from our friends at Unwind Glass Creations. That's Lori Callahan. She's been doing these beautiful custom pieces of jewelry and donating the proceeds to organizations who are about ending sexual assault. So we love Lori. You will too, but mostly you're going to love that piece when you contribute at the $1,000 level. We've got a $5,000 level and a $12,000 and a $35,000. And let me tell you, when it gets up to that point, we're basically coming to your house and washing your dishes. Okay, I mean, it's what don't you want us to do? We're so excited about this, but we're full disclosure. Chris, you've prepared the data that we need to show potential investors for the Indiegogo. Talk a little bit about that. We've got our budget is up. And, you've got some bullets down there talking about the budget.
We do. We put full disclosure, transparency, our complete budget up. Yeah. And we have already spent $65,000.
That's right.
And we need an additional $75,000 to complete the next 5 episodes of our documentary series. The pilot is complete and awesome.
It's so good.
And we already have the footage for the next 5
Yeah,
episodes.
That's the good news. We've been really frugal with the money that we have been given, and it has all come from private donors. But we've really packed a punch with what we've been able to accomplish with the money that we have been given. This is to help us take that footage that we've already captured and get it ready for more episodes, so we can continue to tell you more stories. We're excited to tell you Lee's story. Lee is our first outlier. Lee is a young woman out of Lafayette, Louisiana, and you're absolutely going to love her.
She's amazing.
We fell in love instantly.
We did.
This kid, man, she's in her early 20s. She's a student. And it's just, when you hear a young woman, a young educated woman speaking to you the way that Lee does, y'all will hear it. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see the episode and hear her speak. It just warms your heart. I get such a kick out of her turn of phrase. She's the most incredibly articulate young woman I've ever met, with a very sad story. And the fact that she's done as much as she has with that in her past is just a testament to the power of survivorship. And I can't wait for you to meet her. She won our hearts instantly. We love her so much. And Lee, if you're listening to this, we can't wait for everybody to see you, girl. We love you so much. All right, so you can be a part of this excitement at the Indiegogo Outlier Project fundraising page. You can find that very easily. We made it super easy with a tiny URL. So you'll want to find us at tinyurl.com/Outlier Indiegogo. I don't care if it's $5, whatever you can give. It's the giving season. It's time for us to turn our hearts toward others. And it doesn't matter what your creed is. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, your spirituality or your lack of spirituality. It's a time to look outside of self and to think about ways that we can help those around us. And I'm always going to have Outliers on my mind for that. After we received that generous anonymous contribution from our out-of-state contributor, and it proved to us that we truly are a national movement, I felt so strongly to say to every victim within our reach, we want you to know the light of your truth is coming. The power of your confession is coming. The healing of your recovery is coming. Your transformation from victim to survivor is coming. Your elevation to advocacy, your destined role as an outlier, it is coming. Wherever you are, tell someone. And if they don't listen and react appropriately to you, you tell us. You can do that by sharing your story with the Outlier Project at outlierstories.com/share-your-story. Or just go to outlierstories.com. The page will come up and you'll see the tab where it says to share your story. This is about believing victims, sharing stories, and igniting a movement. And we are so excited. So we've talked about our branding. We've talked about our goal of restorative justice. We have a threefold mission with Outlier. We are here to raise awareness. We are here to dispel victim stigma and get that off of them so they can tell their story in truth and freedom. But mostly and ultimately, we are here to bring restorative justice. And we've seen it happen over and over again, and we can't wait to unleash it on the rest of the nation and by God, the world. Come see us at outlierstories.com and definitely like us on all social media. Again, we are on Facebook at facebook.com Outlier Stories. We are on Instagram and Twitter with the handle at Outlier_stories. And we are at our website at outlierstories.com. And again, most importantly, you can contribute to our Indiegogo project at tinyurl.com/Outlier Indiegogo.
Our favorite quote by Margaret Mead: "Never doubt that a few thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has."